Welcome to the Real News Network. I'm Kim Brown in Baltimore. Wednesday was the first day of the Conservative Political Action Committee's annual conference, otherwise known as CPAC, held at National Harbor in Oxon Hill, Maryland. This is an annual gathering of conservatives where President Donald Trump is expected to address the convention later on this week. But also on Wednesday, CNN hosted a debate between the numerous candidates seeking to be the chair of the Democratic National Committee. And to discuss this and some of the arguments and repercussions within that debate, we're joined today with Bill Black. Bill is an associate professor of both economics and law at the University of Missouri at Kansas City. He's also a white-collar criminologist and author of the book, The Best Way to Rob a Bank is to Own One. He's joining us today from Minnesota. Bill Black, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So, Bill, it was a really interesting and spirited, lively debate between, I believe it's several candidates seeking to run the DNC and to be the chair of that organization. And many are sort of categorizing this as a debate between Democratic corporatists and progressives. What did you see at that debate, and what was your takeaway?
Well, the debate has become a little more of a game theory approach to stuff. So the candidates that have really no chance of winning are, of course, making the most vibrant statements in this situation, because the idea is you got nothing to lose. You might as well, try to capture the wave, create the wave, and then capture it yourself. The progressive candidate in the debate, the guy that was the clear front runner, and where the corporatists in the form of Chuck Schumer, the minority leader in the Senate, had decided, we're going to give progressives a shot at running the DNC. That candidate, he's a congressman from a district just a couple miles from where I am sitting. His name is Keith Ellison, and he clearly was going to win. But the folks that you're probably using the phrase corporatists to mean, although that phrase, they would deny it. But in any event, clearly President Obama stepped in, while he was still president, by the way, to try to make sure that progressives would not have leadership of the DNC, and in particular, not progressives associated with Bernie Sanders. And Keith Ellison, Congressman Ellison, had been a prominent surrogate, probably the most prominent surrogate on television, for example, for Bernie Sanders, and considered very effective in that role. At that juncture, Obama had to figure out how to defeat Keith Ellison, which is a difficult task. Ellison had momentum, well-respected and such. So they did a couple of things. First, they needed a candidate, and the candidate they got is Tom Perez. And he, by the way, is from Maryland. You were talking about that earlier, and had been expected to be the likely Democratic candidate to try to retake the governorship of Maryland from very right-wing conservatives. So it was strange in those circumstances that you would take someone who was viewed as a real party hope to take back a Republican, important Republican seat, in this case being governor of Maryland, and instead use him at the DNC. So at that point, the Clintons joined into the effort because, like President Obama, they have real fury against anyone connected with Bernie Sanders. And right now, you've seen Ellison moving to the right in the debates, Perez trying to emphasize his ties to labor And so, it's a clever thing in the standpoint of the New Democrats using someone like Tom Perez. And what I've just wrote is, I mean, the real question is, why did Perez allow himself to be used this way? If he says he's a progressive in orientation, why did he allow himself to be used against the progressive movement? And he's not given an answer to that question.
Bill Black, I want to kick it to a clip of Keith Ellison and Tom Perez in the debate, actually referencing what you're speaking about, the labor movement and how the Democrats can try to reclaim labor and union members as part of their base.
I believe that those are our issues. Fair trade is our issue. That's why the AFL-CIO endorsed me. That's why the steelworkers endorsed me. Leo Gerard, one of the people I really admired, said that in Baltimore, right after the disturbance with Freddie Gray, he said, let me tell you, that we used to have 30,000 steelworkers in Baltimore. Now we got 3. We have been hit hard by policies over the last 4 decades. Wages have stagnated. And the Democratic Party has got to be the party that is fighting for working people every single day. And we have always got to be on the side of the worker. We can never be found standing on the other side when working people are trying to make a living.
You were labor secretary. You supported and defended TPP. So why would you be the right messenger to bring working class voters back to the Democratic Party?
Well, I think implicit in that question is Tom's not a progressive. And you know what? I take a backseat to no one in what I accomplished at the Labor Department. We fought for increasing the minimum wage. We implemented an overtime rule. We attacked the issue of retirement security. I'm proud of the fact that the head of the AFL-CIO called me the best labor secretary since Francis Perkins. So I moved forward, and I was part of Team Obama, and I'm damn proud of being part of Team Obama. And when you're part of a team, you don't go to the buffet line and say, I'm going to play here or play there. And when we talked about the issue of trade, I was always talking about the American worker. And you know what? That's why I have the support of people from the labor movement.
You know, Bill, that argument right there sort of highlights the division between Democrats on this issue in particular, when it comes to labor and trade, about how former Labor Secretary there, Tom Perez, supported TPP, which many progressives did not, including Bernie Sanders. And ultimately, TPP was killed by President Donald Trump after being championed so hard by President Barack Obama. So talk about this issue specifically and how it sort of highlights the lack of seeing eye to eye when it comes to Democrats.
Right. So life is complicated, and President Obama and the Clintons were very clever in picking Perez to be their candidate to try to defeat Ellison and Sanders' progressive type movement. Because, in fact, Perez was a relatively effective Secretary of Labor. And before that, in the Justice Department, he was the most effective. Now, this is damning with faint praise to some extent, but he was the most effective senior Justice Department official in going after banks. Now, he only went after them in terms of discrimination, and he only went after them in terms of civil cases. So he didn't put any of them in prison for these, any of the major ones for these crimes. So, he wasn't great, but compared to the rest of the Justice Department, it's certainly true that he was good. And progressives would have been very happy to support Perez in a run for being governor of Maryland. Indeed, progressives would have been, as they are typically for Democrats, by far the key people you would rely on. They have much better turnout. And they vote a much higher percentage of the time for the Democratic candidate. Now, what he just said about this buffet metaphor is really interesting in terms of Trump, because what the Democrats are saying, of course, is we want to make sure that Trump cabinet appointees don't simply do what Donald Trump wants done, that they actually do the right thing. They are demanding that in the national stage, but their candidate for the DNC is saying the opposite, that if you're part of an administration, you have to toe and do whatever the president does. Now, Obama is a new Democrat. He said it openly. Hillary and Bill Clinton, Al Gore, these were all new Democrats, right? They have run against working people in terms of their policies, not every policy, but overall their policies, for over 20 years. And Tom Frank has been putting this in print for over 13 years, starting with What's the Matter with Kansas, saying, and the quotations are there, read his books, What's the Matter with Kansas, Listen Liberal. You'll see just extraordinary statements by the New Democrats of their hostility to the working class. There was just an op-ed in the New York Times that said Democrats should move left, but not towards the working class. And you're going, I mean, this is insane. You want to leave working class whites as virulent supporters of people like Donald Trump and just give up on those folks? That's insane as a policy. So Perez is being disingenuous. The New Democrats have been very hostile to labor for some considerable time. And you can see right now that Trump is making a major effort to win unions over to his cause, saying, I'm your guy, right? Your key problem is trade, globalization, and your key problem is competing with immigrants. And so, while he's been clumsy in most things politically, that most people think he's having significant inroads. He's already got the inroads in the voting by people who are working class, but now he's starting to get entree on a high level to union leaders as well. So that if the Democrats don't get their act in gear, that aspect of the electorate is going to be increasingly difficult to win back.
Ooh, Bill, I want to come back and get to that exact point, but we have to take a break. We're speaking with Bill Black, who's an associate professor of law and economics at the University of Missouri at Kansas City. We're talking about the debate between those who are seeking to be the chair of the Democratic National Committee. You're watching The Real News.